Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Governor, good to see you. Good to have you on. And I don't think we do this enough, but I'm just curious where you think the race is right now, 41 days away from Election Day.
I think the polls reflect that Donald Trump is leading, but I also believe that the polls are not completely accurate, and here's why. A lot of people are reluctant to say they're going to vote for Donald Trump because they don't want to be, considered to be racist or misogynist. They just are concerned. We saw it in 2016. We're seeing it again now. But I just cannot imagine that people who, when they sit down at their kitchen table with their family, say, yeah, I'd like 4 more years of what we've been having. It's like the days when we played football in junior high. And back in the old days, we'd get paddlings from the coach. And when we'd get a lick, we'd have to say, thank you, coach. May I have another? And that's what I'm thinking. I mean, do Americans really want to take 4 more years of getting licks and say, thanks, Kamala, can I have another? Yeah. I just can't believe that people are that crazy.
Do you think, and I've seen these yard signs that say Harris Waltz, obviously, and I'm like that, I mean, to me, it's the most obvious decision right now, November the 5th, who you should vote for. But Governor, do you think that the reluctant Trump voter, those people that in polite company at whatever, cocktail parties wouldn't admit to voting for Donald Trump. We saw it certainly in 16 and it existed in 2020. I don't know. I've met, and I live in a blue state, but I've met people that have told me they are going to become first-time Trump voters in 2024. I don't know if that same reluctance exists right now like we've seen in the past.
Well, I certainly hope that people are just assessing the situation for themselves. I can't imagine that they like what they see and they have any memory at all, unless they're gone full Joe Biden and can't remember life 4 years ago. They surely will remember that the economy was good. The average American family, Rob, they've lost $29,000 of spendable income. That's a huge amount. That's money they don't have thanks to the policies that have led to record inflation, higher prices, immigration that is out of control. This is, an administration that has taken this country right off the road and into the ditch. So let's hope that people just think through this very carefully for themselves and then look at it from the world perspective.
Yeah.
Our world is on fire. It wasn't when Donald Trump was president. They've got to look at that realistically.
Let me ask you about Ukrainian President Zelenskyy and his, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, is not at the UN this week because he's got a lot going on in Israel right now. I feel like Zelensky's been here. I feel like he visited Disney. He's been here since the weekend, basically campaigning for Kamala Harris, traveling around in a United States Air Force C-17 cargo plane. He went to Pennsylvania to a munitions factory, and Governor Shapiro was there autographing bombs that are going to be used by the Ukrainians to kill Russians. And then President Zelenskyy went out and said that J.D. Vance was too radical. He's quoted in the New Yorker saying that J.D. Vance is too radical and that he should brush up on his history of the Second World War before he talks about how the war in Ukraine should end. Then, and here's Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, signing these missiles, these bombs, with Bob Casey in the background, shaking hands with Zelenskyy. I want to get your reaction to that. What it says to you that a foreign leader is now interfering in our elections, essentially campaigning for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in a battleground state.
Yeah. I mean, it's just bizarre. When have we ever seen this? Donald Trump has been accused of, having Putin on his side. Well, Putin is actually hoping for Kamala Harris. This is odd. You've got people on both sides of the war supporting Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Why? Because they know Trump is a strong president. But I think it's outrageous that Zelenskyy, who has had billions of dollars from the United States, would inject himself into the American election. He really should sit this one out. And even if he does have an opinion, he needs to shut up and keep it to himself. He has no business trying to tell Americans how to vote. But the fact that he is telling Americans that he wants Kamala Harris might be a good reason for people to vote for Donald Trump. This is classic interference in an election. I wonder, where's Liz Cheney? Is she going to demand some hearings with her old colleagues in Congress about the intervention and the collusion and the injection of foreign influence in our elections? I doubt it. That's the hypocrisy that we face today. It's why Donald Trump needs to be elected.